sports fans? Welcome to another exciting episode of Sports Jabber with J&J. I'm Jama.
I'm Jonathan. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with us today as we discuss some of the big topics in the world of sports. The game plan for you today, we talked about the old-timers kind of dissing the Warriors, saying they're not a very good team. Talk about Calvin Johnson retiring and the big deals in free agency and NFL. We lead off. Baseball season's right around the corner. So we're going to start previewing each division, just to let you know our thoughts on who's going to come out on top and what we kind of think of each one. Start out today with the AL West. It's going to be an interesting division this year. We have Houston Astros, Texans. Those are the ones that came out on top last year. Texans just edging out the Astros at the end of the season to take the division. Astros getting in on the wild card. This year, I think the Astros are going to pull it out. I think they're going to come on top of the division. They got too much going for them. They added pitchers Ken Giles and Doug Fister, and they did lose Scott Kazmir, which was a big starting pitcher to lose, but he's replaceable. And they lost a couple bats, Jed Lowry, Chris Carter, but they didn't make too big of a difference. Got a full year of Carlos Correa this year. Rookie of the year last year. Build off of that success he had. Got reigning Cy Young winner Dallas Keuchel. Can he have another season like he did last year? And then they had second majors in starting ERA, second only to Blue Jays in home runs. So they have both the pitching and the hitting to do it. Plus, when you look at the rest of the division, Rangers, they lost a lot. Yvonne Gallardo, Mike Napoli, Will Venable. Yu Darvish come back from Tommy John surgery, but how good is he going to be? Joey Gallo will have a full season, but he came on with a bang last year. First couple games, really just came on. Really good batting average, hit a couple home runs, but kind of faded off towards the rest of the season. So to the off season plus the spring training, able to get him to prove that he is a full time major leaguer. Only time will tell on that. And then Mariners. New manager, new GM. They've always been kind of a disappointment. Robinson Cano hasn't lived up to his contract. The one good player they have is Felix Hernandez, but you're not going to win enough games off of one starting pitcher. You got to have someone to back him up.
Some type of relief for his arm or something.
You got to have other starters, and then you also have to have some offense, which
they don't.
They just can't see
the muster. They haven't been good since Griffey, in my opinion.
And, the ballpark they're in, it's not conducive to offense. It is a pitcher's park. So, when you sign someone like Robinson Cano, who, thrived in Yankee Stadium, but who hasn't,
exactly.
Hit a pop fly in Yankee Stadium, it's a home run. And then you go to Safeco, much, much different. You would really have to strike the ball good just to, get in, the first row seats.
Exactly.
And then Angels, they added some players, Escobar, Giovanni Soto, mainly just role players. Can they get support from Mike Trout? Can someone in that offense back him up so he actually has to be pitched to?
Hamilton's got to step up a little, too. He's got to play like the old one.
Hamilton? Oh, he's with Angels traded him. He's with the Rangers. And the Angels are eating a lot of his contract, too. So, they really got screwed over on that. So, but then, Albert Pujols, he hasn't lived with his contract. Can he have even remotely close to what he used to do in St. Louis? If he can do that, at least that'll give Mike Trout some backup.
Since the Cardinals.
But, they have some decent, starting, young pitchers, but can Jared Weaver and C.J. Wilson really solidify the back end of that rotation? It's possible. They were okay last year. They finished, 85-77, third in the division, but they were only a game back of Houston. And then you had the Oakland A's, who, they're in a rebuilding season, so I don't expect much out of them. They do have Sonny Gray, who can, pitch with the best of them, but that's basically it. They don't have anyone else on top of that. So I think it's going to be the Houston Astros, and I really don't even see it being that close. And probably Houston Astros, Rangers, Angels, Mariners, A's. I think that's how the division's going to play out.
Yeah, Astros are way too put together, in my opinion. They have the bats and they have the pitchers. That's just
young
just
team too.
Simple.
Young team. They're going to be good for quite a while as long as they can keep that core group together. And they have still a lot of prospects in the minors that haven't been called up yet. So
farm system.
They could very well pull some other people up and from AAA and make a huge impact and have it go, even farther. So we'll see what happens. But I think Houston Astros, yeah, they're the ones that will run away with that division. I don't really see too much of competition there. Moving on, Golden State Warriors. Apparently, they're not a very good team according to a lot of the old players.
Well, they're soft. I mean, I'm sick of hearing about Golden State. I mean, America, stop talking about them. Like, we know they're good. Just stop. Just stop comparing them. Just stop it. Stop.
I got Oscar Robertson, saying that, they couldn't survive in his day, along with, Steven Jackson, who played for the 06-07 Warriors, saying that they could, 06-07 Warriors could beat the Warriors now. Probably. And then, Walt Frazier, saying they're only good because of the three-point shot.
Yeah, that's totally true, because you look at Stephen Curry, it's like, oh, he shoots 300 threes, oh my goodness. That's all he does. He doesn't drive the lane.
They don't need to.
He doesn't drive the lane, though.
But they don't need to. Why does he need to drive the lane?
When he's off, he sucks, and the team sucks, too, because he can't, all he can do is shoot threes.
When is he off?
He was off when they got beat by the lowly Los Angeles Lakers with an old grandpa, Kobe Bryant.
So he's been off, say 7 times this year.
I'm just saying, if a team can find the right defense to beat Golden State that contain Curry, might be the Spurs. I'm just saying.
That's the thing. No one's found that right defense yet. They had all of last year to figure it out. They've had all of this year to figure it out, and no one has.
I mean, the thing people are forgetting is the Warriors just last year became somewhat relevant, and this year they're killing it, yes, but then people are just taking it and running with it like, oh my gosh, they're the best team since the world was created, and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, they are a good team, don't get me wrong. Now,
some people are saying they're better than the Bulls.
The only thing is you can't compare the Warriors now to the Bulls back then because it's 2 different games.
Right, back in the day it was way more physical.
Yeah, when first you get hand check. Now, you can't do much, as far as defense. You touch a guy on the shoulder, it's a foul. So
you can blow air on him and they'll call you a foul.
Exactly. So you can't compare the, teams of past, the Bulls of the 90s, the Celtics, Lakers of the 80s and 70s. You can't compare that because it's a completely different game. Yeah, I get what Oscar Robertson and Walt Frazier saying is, back in, when they were playing, they didn't have a 3-point line. So it was reliant on driving, getting close to the hoop, posting up. Or now you don't have to. Steph Curry can take 60-foot shots all he wants, and Yeah,
there's no perimeter defense anymore. They don't pick up the person at half court anymore. They just sag off. And you're right, a person like Stephen Curry's range, he's like, this guy didn't pick me at half court. I'm gonna dribble like 2 steps and pull up in his face.
Exactly. And now, I do kind of, some disagree when they say, they could never play in my day. Well, the only reason why they can't is because this is how they grew up playing. This is how the game is morphed. So that's how they've been training to play, is this new style of game. Now, if Steph Curry was playing in the 80s, he would have learned how to play 80s style basketball. So it would have been, different. But, this is how how the game is played now. It's completely different from how it used to be. So you can't compare. The game now, there isn't as much defense. It's not as, physical as it was back then.
It's who can outscore the other, basically.
Exactly. And you're looking at, over 100 points a night, almost in every game.
Where's the defense?
Yeah, there is.
It's literally like watching NBA 2K16 in real life.
Yeah. Now, they have talked about moving the 3-point line
more.
back.
Yeah.
But, Stephen Curry has proved
he won't
move it back any farther. It doesn't matter to him. He usually shoots 10 feet, behind it anyways.
That buzzer was pretty far out.
Yeah, so, for him, it's not going to matter. Him, Klay Thompson are kind of the same way.
Same build-up, same shooters.
Yeah, so until they come up with something drastically different, this is the way the NBA is going right now. So this is how people are going to start, playing it. It's up to the coaches to find a way to defend it.
Exactly.
Get up on them, in half court. Don't let them just, have a free run right up to the 3-point line, because then they can just shoot right away. There you go, score. So you got to come with some sort of defense to, to stop them, which, easier said than done, obviously. But a lot of people get paid good money to come up with something like that and figure out a way to stop them. And
they're failing.
No one's done that yet. So
they're failing. Just hire new coaches all around the league.
Who are they going to hire?
Some college coaches, maybe. I don't know. Can't Can't be that hard, right? I mean,
That's
they just got to get players to pick them up at half court, right? I mean,
I think so. I'm assuming, someone like Greg Popovich has probably thought of that. If anyone could figure out a way to stop the Warriors, it's probably going to be him.
yeah, it'll be the Spurs.
Yeah.
If anyone beats them in a 7-game series, it'll be the Spurs.
Most likely. Now, whether I think they actually can do that,
I don't know.
I think they can make a good series out of it, but I still think the Warriors are going to come out on top. Unless, Popovich has something up his sleeve and knows a way to stop him, just hasn't implemented it.
If they meet up this year, they didn't even meet up last year in the postseason because they got knocked out by the Clippers or something crazy like that.
No, I think the Spurs are a better team this year than they were last year, so I think
they weren't healthy either.
True, so I think it is going to come down to the Warriors and Spurs and the
Western Conference Final.
Yep, and I think the Warriors are going to come out on top, like unless Popovich has something special lined up. So
he's always got bags up his tricks somehow.
Yeah, that's why he's one of the best coaches ever. So he knows what he's doing.
So after that exhilarating topic on Golden State, moving on now, Kelvin Johnson hangs it up after 9 seasons. I was kind of shocked, a little bit.
Surprising, yeah. I mean, apparently doesn't feel like he has anything left to either contribute or do, or he's just trying to get away from the Lions like Barry Sanders did.
He did say that he's sad he played with a bunch of losers. That was what I was told by a Detroit Lions fan that I know. It's pretty crappy.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. And he's made the playoffs twice.
Yeah.
So, and then both times it was one and done. So, he's not wrong. He was on the, I believe, the 0-16 team. So
yeah, that's
playing with a bunch of losers. Accurate.
Wasn't a slap in the face at all. It was true.
Oh, it's true. Calvin Johnson is surprising. He had a great career. He's probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
First ballot, I'm not sure. I know I've heard a lot of people saying not first ballot.
I don't think he had the longevity in his career for it to be a first ballot. He was
second or third.
9 seasons. He was number 2 overall pick in 2007. 6-time Pro Bowler. 43rd all-time in receptions. 27th in yards. 22 in TDs. Average 86.1 yards per game, which is only second behind Julio Jones for the NFL record. And he got 11,000 receiving yards, 7 1,000-yard seasons, 3-time first-team All-Pro. Holds a single season record for most receiving yards, 1,964 in 2012.
Yeah, that was a crazy year.
Most career 200-plus receiving yard games. Fastest receiver, 10,000 yards. And he's the Lions' all-time receiver in receptions, receiving yards, and TDs. But, it's the Lions, so...
At least he leads up to his nickname of Megatron. He's not Optimus Prime, but, he is Megatron, though.
Yeah, he was... he had a great career, but unfortunately he was stuck on, the Lions. He didn't have that opportunity to really, really realistically shoot for a Super Bowl and a championship. He never...
I don't know why that is, though. They had Ndamukong Suh who should have been fighting in MMA because he steps on people all the time, and
they've always had
good
talent.
Players, but they haven't been able to bring them all together.
They've always just underachieved. Now, whether it's the players themselves, they just don't have they don't have the motivation in themselves to step up and play, or is it the coaching? They've gone through several coaches in his time there, so I don't know if you can you really blame it on the coaching when you've tried several different coaches and you keep getting the same results. Sometimes you have to look at the players or even at the GM for which players he's bringing in. But,
it's sad because you want to see a player of his caliber at least retire with 1 ring.
Or at least have had the opportunity at some point.
To play in the Super Bowl, but then when they don't play in the Super Bowl at all and they retire, it's like, some of them like, oh, what do I have to show for my season, like my career, like the accolades speak for themselves, but they want to have a ring.
Exactly, and you wonder what his thought process is. Does he feel like he's truly done with the game? Is he leaving feeling satisfied? Or is he kind of leaving like, God, I wish this team would just release me so I could go somewhere else and have a shot at doing something? But
he should reach out to Belichick. Brady would love to have him.
Packers would love to have him. Have Aaron Rodgers throw it to him.
Yeah, I have that Jordy Nelson guy, right?
Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Megatron, Randall Cobb. That's a pretty good receiving core right there.
But James Jones might not come back,
Oh,
so my
true.
next question is who's going to wear the hoodie with the jersey next season?
Yeah, give it to Devontae Adams. Why not? Maybe the hoodie will help him catch the ball.
He needs something. He struggled.
Yeah, he does. And with the gloves they have now, I mean, so much easier to catch a ball, yet still just goes right through his hands.
He could go bare hand, just put some cocoa butter on his hands and some Vaseline. Suction cup.
So that sounds more slippery than it does.
No, I think it really isn't. Huh. It could happen.
Why not?
Put some sticky glue on his hands.
Can't be any worse than what he did. So
I'm just trying to reach out to him to give him some suggestions how to catch the ball.
Catch with your hands while they come to your body. You learn that in preschool.
So, with our next topic, the free agency frenzy took place. Wow.
That was a wild week so far.
A lot of crazy stuff going on. I don't even know where to start right now. I mean,
I want to start with who I think is the biggest loser in free agency so far, Denver Broncos. Wow. You go from Peyton Manning, Super Bowl winning team, to Mark Sanchez. Let that sink in, Bronco fans. Mark Sanchez right now is your starting quarterback.
You went from Omaha to I'm drinking a lot of beers and Von's buying with Nationwide isn't on their side.
From a Super Bowl winning quarterback to a person who's most known for the butt fumble.
Yes! The butt fumble!
Yeah, so congratulations, Denver Broncos. Right now, you're the biggest loser in NFL free agency. You have a pretty good defense still, but you're going to have to put up more, than 3 points.
They need more than 3 points, and they're going to have to try to figure out a way to, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not John Elway right now, I'll tell you that much.
And then, are they going to get C.J. Anderson, or is he going to be able to go to the Dolphins? Ronnie Hillman, he wasn't very good last year.
He had fumbleitis sometimes.
He's been kind of a disappointment the past couple of years, being hurt and just not performing well. So, okay, you lose your quarterback. You don't have much of a running game.
They lost some key defensive player. I think Malik Jackson left and Danny Trevathan as well. So, I mean, it's starting to turn into a lot of holes on that team,
Yeah, and you're able to reach an agreement, an extension today with Von Miller, but he was already franchised.
Yeah, they always franchise tag him. So, I mean,
you're able to get him for a few more years. But, okay, you have, even if you lose a couple on defense, you'll still have a pretty top-notch defense. But unless, you're talking about the defense of the 85 Bears, that can score you 7 to 14 points a game, yeah, you're probably not going to win that many because your offense will be lucky to get past their own 30-yard line.
I believe I heard also that they restructured DeMarcus Ware's contract, and he's going to now be just a third down guy.
I don't think he played a whole lot last year. That's when he mainly came in, was third down. So
I could have sworn he was in a lot during the playoffs and stuff.
Oh, in the playoffs, I'm sure he was. Because they in the regular season, their plan was to try to keep him fresh,
right? So because he's an older player.
Yeah, so when the playoffs came, he could really get in there. But he's not gonna regular season. First, you have to get through the regular season next year and try get to the playoffs, which
it won't happen.
I'm
sorry. I mean, you guys can blow up our YouTube page of hate comments all you want, but
unless you guys are willing to trade up in the draft with the Browns, I don't see anything happening good for you guys this year. But on the bright side, you probably will have the first pick next year. So
could get a quarterback.
That's something to look forward to. Just got to get through this bad season, and then next year maybe the savior will come in that first overall pick.
That's right. It could be, for all we know, Manziel could have a cousin that's coming through the pipelines, and
or you guys could sign Manziel,
Johnny Football,
have Manziel and Sanchez battle out between the starting quarterback. Hard to say that with a straight face. Wow, that's what you guys have come to, Broncos. I'm sorry. I feel for you. That is rough.
I mean, as a Niners fan, I feel bad for you guys, but to a way, I don't really feel bad because you guys were kind of hard on the Panthers last year. So I mean, is it karma? Is it everything goes around comes around, like Justin Timberlake said in his song? I don't know.
They just didn't plan that out, well. I mean, you knew
Osweiler's gone.
You knew Osweiler was going to be a free agent this year, and you knew, you had to know Peyton Manning was, coming towards the end. He only had 1 to 2 years left, so you should have either locked Osweiler up before the season started, or had a contingency plan in case he were to leave. Which, after you benched him in week 17, apparently that's when he decided, yeah, I'm not going to come back here.
Yeah, Osweiler pretty much said, oh, John, you hurt my feelings. You benched me for Peyton Manning, and I'm going to go to Houston and get $72 million.
You benched me for a 5-time or MVP. How could you? All you had to do was wait and, after this, season was done, you were the starter, Brock, but, he went to the Texans, which I think so far has done a pretty good job for.
They got Lamar Miller.
Yeah, Lamar Miller, Brock Osweiler. That was their main focus, was offense.
Yeah.
And they released Arian Foster, picked up Lamar Miller, and got Brock Osweiler because they had nobody for quarterback. So, can now the offense do enough with that defense to, push them over the top? They already won the division last year. Now that was with Andrew Luck and the Colts just being a mess with him being hurt. So, can now they have enough offense to overtake the Colts and really, establish themselves as a dominant force in the AFC? Maybe. They're in the AFC. There hasn't, they haven't done teams haven't done a whole lot. Jets got Matt Forte. Jaguars, picked up Chris Ivory. Dolphins picked up Mario Williams, so they spent even more money on their defensive line to go along with the millions of dollars that threw at Ndamukong Suh. So next year, if the Dolphins don't break the record for sacks, it's a huge disappointment how much money they have invested in that defense.
Too, you want to talk about money blown. The Giants spent $200 million to revamp their whole defense in free agency. They got some big names.
And, one thing I like to do this is free agency, in my opinion, is a little overblown. I don't think it's as big of a deal as people tend to make it out. Look how many teams usually win free agency, and what do they usually do the next year?
They do awful. The Dolphins with Ndamukong Suh, they were awful this year.
How many times were the Redskins the winners in free agency? And what did that ever really do for them? Nothing. So you can't build your team around free agency. You can get pieces to help you. You can get role players through free agency, but if you're gonna unless you're picking up a big-name quarterback like the Broncos did with Peyton Manning a couple years ago, you're not really going to change, your team from a 2-14 team to a 14-2 team. It's not going to work. You have to build through the draft. Exactly. Look at the teams that are usually on top.
The Patriots are always good. They build through the draft.
Exactly.
They're always there every year.
The Patriots build through the draft. The Seahawks have built through the draft. The Packers build through the draft. And they're usually always the ones that are in contention. They'll get some role players in free agency. The Packers, when they do free agency, when they pick up someone, it's usually someone big.
They start off their style of play.
Yeah, start off Reggie White, first big name free agency. Then they got Charles Woodson. That worked out pretty well.
Pretty big
deal. They picked up Julius Peppers. They haven't won a championship, since picked him up, but he has been helpful.
Contributed.
Yeah, so if you're gonna pick up a free agent, you gotta make sure you're getting your money's worth. But it all comes down to what you do through the draft. That's the biggest thing. And really another, I think loser so far in free agency is the Eagles. They picked up Chase Daniels as quarterback. Then they traded DeMarco Murray, and they also traded Byron Maxwell and Kiko Alonso.
And then they signed Sam Bradford to a deal, didn't they, recently? And then they bring Chase Daniels in, and they're like, it's going to be a competition between Sam Bradford and this guy I've never even heard of. I think he went to Missouri, Chase Daniels.
Chase Daniels, he's been a career backup.
He's been in there a while, but
he's a career backup. But then he's going to play because Sam Bradford's going to get hurt because he does every single year.
They may as well have an asterisk injury logo right above Sam Bradford's head. Yeah, it's guaranteed.
He's going to tear another ACL. He seems to do that every year.
It's just sad because he was so good in Oklahoma. It's so much promise.
Well, even in
when he came
Oklahoma, I
out.
think he still battled some injuries, and it's just
He
it's
did.
continued.
It just,
But
just
for
wasn't
him,
so significant.
luckily for him, he got in before they had that rookie cap, so he got paid. And
Oh, yeah.
he's set. So he got good money for not playing a whole lot. And then,
Another team for me is that I consider as a loser are my 49ers personally, because I mean, I'm getting sick of the Kaepernick thing. I mean, it's turned into a soap opera like Days of Our Lives. He's staying, he's going.
he wants to go to the Browns. Yeah, do it. Trade him. Get the second overall pick for him.
I think if he wants to go to the Browns and they throw a deal that's, flirty, that Judd York likes, take him, trade up, go get my boy Carson Wentz, throw up the horns.
In my opinion, second overall pick for Colin Kaepernick. If I'm the 49ers, I'd take that deal.
Well, now if he goes to the Browns, what do we do? There's going to be Goff there, and Carson Wentz is going to still be there probably. I mean,
they will, because the Titans aren't taking a quarterback. So.
I think they're going to take a guard.
So the Titans have their quarterback in the future. So now it's going to be, would the 49ers want Wentz or would they want Goff? They want Goff, who's already a California person,
California boy,
went to the big school, or do they want to take their chance at Wentz, who has a higher potential?
And he's going to be hungry because he came from a smaller school, smaller state.
Do they want to take the risk on potential, or do they want to go with a more already established quarterback in Goff? So I mean
that'd be interesting.
Either way, I mean it's a risk I'd be willing to take for the 49ers. I mean, you already know Kaepernick doesn't want to be there, so if you keep him, he's not going to give you.
How's he going to play?
Exactly.
Is he going to have a busted season? So
are you going to throw this entire season away? Because you want to keep Kaepernick, to see what he can do for you, but then he doesn't play well, so you bring Gabbert back in, and then basically have the same season as last year with the same coach or a new coach, or do you want to up it up some? Do you want to just get Browns go second round pick? Here's Kaepernick, and
that would to me would be the worst idea for Kaepernick to. There's what's in Cleveland, like you want to. There's nothing in there.
Hey, if he wants to go there, go for it. Let him go. He can try to be the savior in the Browns, which so many people have, and so many people have failed.
He wants to be the LeBron James of football, and Cap, I'm sorry, but you just don't have the skill set to do that.
It's easier to be LeBron James in basketball, because basketball you can dominate more as one person than you can in football. You need a team around you, which the Browns just don't have for him.
Yeah. It's debatable. I mean, you could look at Peyton Manning. I mean, and Tom Brady. If
they have a team around them,
but if those two weren't there, though, those two teams wouldn't be.
The Browns aren't. The Browns aren't one quarterback away from being a.
Well, I agree,
team,
but
so
I mean, I'm just saying
they need some work. Yeah, it'll be interesting. That's all we have for you today. Please leave us some comments below what you think so far in the NFL free agency. Who do you think is going to win the AL West? Like our page, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Love to hear from you.
And please give us your feedbacks on our comments, because we had a comment on our box about some guy saying, wow, these guys just drowned the Browns. That isn't the case, but...
This episode did not help that.
I mean, it's just... I'm sorry.
Let us know what you think. All right, well, once again, Sports Jabber, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jama.
Have a good night.